Hello. This is TAW Productions and welcome to another review. Today, I am going to talk about an animated movie that just came out and saw in theaters on my own accord, maybe because I just want something to tie me over until that Mario movie comes out and to give out a review while I'm working on bigger videos. Today, I am going to review a movie called The Amazing Maurice. Based on the British books called The Amazing Maurice and His Educated Rodents. The book's author is Terry Pratchett, released in 2001. To be honest, I personally have never read the books, so I can't judge it as a faithful adaptation, so I can only judge it as movie. Anyways, why did I go out of my way to see it in theaters? Was it because it got good reviews? No, it's because I wanted at least something to watch before something actually interesting comes out in theaters. So my curiosity was piqued and I finally saw the movie, and it was your typical generic kids film. So, what's the story? Maurice is a streetwise ginger cat who comes up with a money-making scam by befriending a group of self-taught taking rats. When Maurice and the rodents meet a bookworm named Militia, their little con goes down the drain. To start, the story structure is very weak. Not only because everything happens so quickly that you never really get a sense that the characters go through anything because the pacing is rushed as hell. Everything happens, just because it does. It's also not helped that the self-aware humor is very hit or miss. Sometimes it can be funny, but other times, it either keeps explaining to us or points out its own problems without an attempt to fix them, though, at least it's not Velma levels of cringe. A bit of subtlety wouldn't kill you. The humor is for the most part okay, when it's not consistently shoving meta humor down our throats. The animation is solid. Granted, it's not a masterpiece, but with what they worked, the character designs are fine, the backgrounds are well rendered enough, and the movements flow well. It's a pretty competently made movie, and now it's time for the characters. Starting with the main cat himself. Maurice the cat. To be honest, he is a mixed bag. On one hand, his character has a pretty rushed arc, as his selfish but scams and lies about a village from a book that isn't there, and his character arc does feel genuinely rushed. On the other hand, I do appreciate that they get it out earlier, unlike most liar-revealed stories, and make it clear that he isn't a bad person and how his vulnerable side accidentally slips out, and he does get a good moment near the end. He is an alright protagonist. If the movie was longer, his character might have worked out better, and if it wasn't told to us and let the audience make it out for ourselves. Next are the rats. AKA the only characters I actually remember. Sardines is probably the funniest character in the movie. Whenever he was on screen, he was always a joy to watch. Every other rat and pretty bare bones. I can sum them up as the tough leader, the mistress, and the shepherd of the group. I don't have to go into detail into them. They just exist. Next are Militia and Keith. Keith is pretty forgettable. I completely forget that he's a character in this movie, and outside of the ending, he is pretty forgettable, and you could have cut him out of the movie and replace him with any other character and you wouldn't be missing anything important. Militia, on the other hand, I actually enjoyed her. Outside of a few meta humor she pulls, I found her quite enjoyable. She's eccentric and fun, and you can tell Emilia Clarke is having a lot of fun voicing her. And then there's the Rat King. I found him an okay villain, but not a truly great one. I wish we saw more of him to develop his intimidation, but of what we do so, he is enjoyable, from how looks and the fact that he's just a bunch of rats mind-controlled in one body. He is basically a darkness of evil and has his moments. That's the summary of the characters. So, overall, this movie was fine. There is nothing awful about it, but nothing truly memorable to justify its theatrical release. With a very poorly structured story, hit or miss meta commentary, good animation, and decent, but poorly handled characters. I just say wait until it comes as rental or find it online, because it just ain't worth a ticket in the cinema. It's not the amazing Maurice, it's just the alright Maurice. Hope you like this review. If you like this video, consider hitting the subscribe button and hit the notification bell for new videos. This is TAW Production, signing off.